I just really think that it's imperative that
Doing the countdown now.
welcome to another episode of the Modern Black Man. I am joined by an elite patriot, dedicated father, Christian, and friend. Doug, what's happening?
Hey man, how you doing? I don't even know how.
You know what it is, G.I. Joe. No, you my
I,
hero, man. You do your thing, man, and that's all the inspiration I need, bro. So I appreciate you joining me. I want to talk about a couple little things, but what's going on with you on your side of the world?
oh well, I just got back here in town. Alaska is pretty quiet, with the exception of all the fires that just happen to go on around here all the time. So, you go outside and it smells like a a barbecue pit without meat. So
It ain't even cherry wood. It's just burning wood.
just burning wood, man. Yeah, so I guess the air is pretty dry around here, and it just kind of. I don't know if it's happening spontaneously or if it's people are doing it. At that part, I can't confirm or deny. I just know every summer there's always fire. Yeah.
Maybe it's the people camping. I know they be talking about the Alaskan people that live in the woods type stuff, but I think it's real cold where they are, right?
Shoot, I can't think of anywhere that's cold right now, but I mean,
Mm.
as far as inhabitable places, let's just say that.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, and places where people are, they ain't nowhere cold right now.
It's a real summer in Alaska. That's what's up. It's 100 degrees every day where I stay, where I play. I can't find anywhere cool. So
Hey,
yeah, man. It's
yeah,
like that.
yeah. I mean, it was like that in Vegas. I mean, it was
I
that
had
was
a
that.
dope time, man. I
Yeah,
had a blast. It was definitely what I needed, man. I was out there for a minute. I've been 3 times this year already, bro.
dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like if I lived in California still, I probably would go a lot.
I gotta stop. Like for real. Like I don't think it's an addiction, but I gotta chill. Like I've spent a lot of time and I really think it's been good for me. So I'm a refocus, I'm gonna redirect, and I'm gonna make it all about Texas for at least the next few months, man.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
We got some things on the board though. I think this one is going to I think it will appeal to you. Hopefully in a positive way, a productive way. I'm actually queuing up a video right now in the background of the President of the United States. Today, I really don't know if it what it means, but the president replied to a question or a situation that was posed to him. And I just think it's really interesting how we as a people are responding to our president. So hold on one second and let me get that up. Because I think we need to look at that as a family. Oh yeah, it is. That easy.
But Israel violated it too. Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before. The biggest we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. When I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because the one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
I want to talk
Wow.
about that. What do you think?
Well, he's noticeably frustrated. That's obvious. I don't know what else I'm supposed to think about that, really. I mean, everything he's saying did actually occur. So it's either going to frustrate him or he's not going to care or he's going to be happy about it. And he sounds frustrated.
That's kind of a good observation. I don't know if I really honed in on that because he may be frustrated. What I got from that and the response I'm getting, I'll be honest with you, that's what I had this show for. Why is everybody acting like a girl?
Well, because the majority of black people are Democrats still, man. So it means that they get their information from CNN, they get their information from DNCS and what's it called? I forget what they're called.
MSNBC.
MSNBC. Yeah, I always just call them MSDNC. I mean,
I knew you was trying to do that.
Yeah,
but
I say all of that just to say that I mean, when people receive information, if depending on how it's told to you, will determine how you absorb it, right? So, if the fact of the matter is, me and you haven't heard, or I should say, I haven't heard any commentation about. I haven't heard any commentators talk about that specific situation. So, because
the Iran-Israel situation.
No. That the situation that they had bombed during just before the ceasefire actually started. So
right.
What I was aware of is that the last thing I had heard in regards to the situation was that Iran had tried to send a few missiles towards one of our bases. 99% of them hit the dirt, and the last one just went off into the air somewhere. Mm-hmm. And then they had called the president and said that they want to negotiate a ceasefire with America and Israel. They don't want war. So what I hear when I hear that, that's a win for America, right? Now, here's the problem with niggas, okay? Niggas have a tendency to never get over nothing. Like, they don't get over stuff. So even if the president has never done anything to wrong them, because they have been trained to hate somebody, they don't see any good in this situation. But fact of the matter is he prevented war from happening, right? So with that being said, yesterday was a win for America. Now this morning he's finding out that it sounds like that Israel decided to do something without consulting with him first.
Empty the clip,
yeah, which is their right. It's their right. You know, they have a right to do things without consulting other countries. Yes. Especially if they're in conflict with a country, right? So if their major conflict right now is with Iran and they're handling it how they decide they want to handle it, I mean, we as a country really don't have a right to tell them what they can and can't do, right? Now, because we're the most powerful country in the world, that's why it always seems like it's on our shoulders to fix every matter. But
we've lost our hegemony. We don't fix anything anymore.
Well, that's what I enjoy. I really would love to see what it was like to live in a country that stayed out of it.
Isolationism is a good thing.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the problem. This is the problem with isolationism as an American in today's world. Isolationism doesn't make sense because we have military installations all over the world, and we have military troops in foreign countries that aren't necessarily friendly. So since we have those added dynamics,
Mm-hmm.
it'd be really impossible for us to isolate ourselves and stay out of stuff, because then when we have to pull all of our soldiers and bring them back to America, which would pretty much make it seem as if we're not, our power would change, right? So, okay, so let me give you a perfect example, and we're just going to take a walk back into history, and we're going to talk. If you think about the Roman legion, Rome was everywhere, right?
Yes.
Right, but it did have a point where it stopped. So Rome
All
was,
roads.
yeah, so Rome wasn't in Russia, right? Because of the Caucasus Mountains prevented them from fighting well against Russians, right? So they never were able to go that far. They also weren't able to go as far as, I think, India. They weren't able to go that far either, because there was a lot of it's just too far to send people that got to walk or take a boat to where they're going, right? But if you could fly
But
people to where they're going like we do, you know what I mean? It just makes it a lot easier.
yeah.
So, I mean, in today's world, we don't have to deal with Rome, what Rome dealt with, because of the fact that
Okay.
we're not trying to exert dominance like Rome was trying to do. They were trying to exert their dominance on the world. We are just trying. Our main goal is just to have the ability to send troops or planes anywhere in the world in a matter of 2 to 3 hours. So, I mean, it's more of a strategic sense more than it is for a dominant sense. But I mean, yeah, that's a little bit off topic. But I mean, to bring it
No.
back, but bottom line, I think Trump's main issue in this situation is the lack of communication, and it almost looks like Israel is trying to keep fights moving rather than sit down and come up to a peaceful solution. You know, what I mean, Iran wasn't always an enemy of Israel. I can
Mm.
prove it.
You said you could prove it?
I can prove it. I can prove it. If
Tell
you,
me more.
yeah. So Cyrus the Great, I won't say when he came into power. What I will say is he did come into power while Babylon what did have um, Israel in captivity. So during the time Babylon had Israel in captivity, Cyrus the Great came to power, and Cyrus the Great actually liberated Israel from Babylon. Cyrus the Great actually paid for the temple to be built, right? And he allowed Israel to go back to their home country. So in that sense, he was a friend, right? So there was a
Mhm.
time in Iran's life where they weren't an enemy of Israel. Is that a possibility? According to scripture, it is a possibility.
I was just about to say, because that is absolutely a beautiful reference. I only know that because of scripture. I know that that's Iran BC, and you called it Babylon. Now here's where I'm going to
No,
pick
no, no.
this
I
up.
I didn't. I called Iran. When every time I was referring to Iran, I was referring to Cyrus the Great,
Okay.
because he ruled Persia.
Yeah.
So so Iran is a descendant from Persia.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So it's modern. Iran is modern day Persia. So
Yes.
yes, so Persia liberated Israel from Babylon.
Yes. All I
Yes.
was going to say was yes. That's it, right?
Mhm.
It's evolved crazily, though. I was going to pick up on the whole Rome thing because there was an Eastern Roman Empire and the Western, right? Which is Constantinople, right? Closer to Babylon, the Eastern side. And just like you beautifully laid it out, things have not always been like this for many, many, many reasons. But the time between Cyrus the Great and today, there have been a lot of complications.
Yeah, the Muslim. Uh, I think the biggest issue, the worst thing that ever happened to Persia, um, was allowing Islam to take over its ideologies. So if you go further in time, Cyrus the Great, not Cyrus the Great, but Persia was conquered by Alexander the
Alexander.
Great. So, but he didn't conquer it in the sense that Rome conquered. He conquered in the sense that it was a very, very, very short war that he won, and
Mhm.
then he moved into Persia and made friends with those that were there. He didn't put him into slavery. He just made his life there. You can watch that. If you watch that movie Alexander, I mean, it was actually pretty accurate.
Yeah,
Um,
he was a Macedonian,
yeah,
and
yeah, he was. I mean, he was European.
in Macedonia, is that Iraq?
No, where is Macedonia?
Because it's still a country today. And if I'm
Isn't
really
it?
let me brush up on some geography real quick. Because yes, that's all right. And he was able to use Africa to conquer, as well as Caesar, Cleopatra, all the marriages. That's what made the biggest empire we've ever seen. Macedonia is right next to Albania.
Okay.
It's the other
Yes.
side of the area. So the point I was making, though, is that Israel, with all of the complications in history, all of the past there, today, they're fighting a war to the west with Gaza, to the east with Iran. And if things get complicated, more actors could get in there, or this could really turn into an axis of evil if Russia, North Korea, Iran, and all the countries that we can no longer associate with what we used to call communism can be taken down by us. And that's why it was really a win for Trump to start the ceasefire. I get uncomfortable today because everyone is up in arms and upset that we have a strong male leader. They don't like the way that he does things. They demean his aggression, but he's actually invested for something for the first time. This is the first time I can remember in a Trump presidency him being active in any international relation. And I think that it's going to have a possible positive outcome for him and Benjamin Netanyahu.
Wow. You know, I don't mean to laugh at you. You're my friend and I love you.
You don't think that there could be peace in the Middle East, is what you're about to tell me?
No, what I'm saying is I can't understand for the life of me how you missed his whole first 4 years. Yeah.
His whole first term, because he did a lot of positive, productive
His,
international things.
I mean, I mean, do you realize we weren't in war for the entire 4 years?
Yeah, I
Do you
mean,
realize there was
we're not
no?
at war
Do you
now.
realize there was no war going on? Period for that first
Well,
4 years.
no, that's not true because Biden got us out of Afghanistan, which was a failure.
Whoa! Time out! Time out! I
Okay.
said active war. If you look at if you Google it right now and you see when America's last active war was, you weren't born during this time. We've been in conflict after conflict after
Yeah,
conflict,
yeah.
right? And we've had to occupy and we have to occupy and we have to occupy, but we have not declared war. I want to say since World War II.
1973 Wars Congress Act, right? Vietnam.
Yeah,
They
so
locked up Nixon.
it was either if it wasn't World War II, then it might have been Vietnam, but I doubt it was Vietnam. I think it was World War II the last time we actually declared war. Now,
Right.
I say all of
Right.
say all that to say this. Even though we never actually declared war, it doesn't mean that we weren't engaged in military conflicts, right?
Right.
We weren't. He never actually engaged in any military conflicts, with the exception of the same thing every president does. Is when they see an issue that creates a threat, they take out the threat, right? So let me give you an example. 2 days ago, Trump said we need to get rid of Iran's ability to create a war of mass destruction.
Yep.
Now, if a fool would ask, why don't they get to have one too, right? That's what a fool would ask. Now, the easy answer to that, you fool, because somebody just asked that, and I don't mean to talk bad about you, but I mean, in love, I'm going to tell you, yes, that was a very foolish thought. Because if you have a dictator that is running a country that actively says out of his mouth that there's no room in this world for him in Israel. There's no room in this world for him in America. Death to America, death to Israel, death to Christians. If he's actively saying that, I mean, you have to take him on, you got to take his word, not necessarily with a grain of salt, but you should just believe him, right? Why would they need a war of mass destruction if they don't have any plans on using it? Right?
It's a caliphate. What? It's a caliphate. I mean, you know that though. It is a caliphate. Yeah. So I mean, that is their job to do all those things. It's no longer communism. And honestly, we can't call everyone a terrorist. So it's evolving. And
you can't. But what you can do is if you think about where the money comes from, right? Now, what you'll never hear people on the left saying, and the reason why I don't know why they don't say it, but you'll never hear them referring to Iran as a state that sponsors terrorism.
Yeah, they do. That state sponsor terrorism. Every terrorist organization they sponsor, that's the state. Hezbollah. Gosh, what's the one in Gaza? Those guys, the Houthis, ISIS. It's an independent state of Syria and Iraq, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, what I'm saying is they sponsor these things. They get they said
that they don't.
No, I said that they do.
Okay.
I said that you'll never hear anybody on the left talking about it.
Okay.
And the reason why you won't hear them talking about it, I think, is because you have to give credence to anything that Trump does, right? In regards to them. Because if they are an actual threat, then you would expect the person that is that's protecting your house to put up mitigating circumstances so that they cannot effectively penetrate your defenses. True?
Yes.
Okay. So if just yesterday they called and said that they want to talk ceasefire, and the goal was to have that to start at 0700, right? I don't know what, maybe it was, I don't know if it was 0700 p.m. or maybe it was 1900 hours. 0700 hours a.m. or 1900 hours p.m.
Yeah, 24 hours yesterday.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that if that were the case, that means that the ceasefire is supposed to start tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, right. Which would mean that Israel thought that it might be best to, if we're going to strike, we need to strike before we got to sign this paper. Yeah. Now, I don't call that good business. I just can't. I can't call it good business. So let me see if I can turn it around for the audience. Okay. So let me see if I can turn it around. Okay. Me and your business have been going back and forth for months now.
Okay. We've
been suing each other left and right. Right. We've been back and forth to court for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Now, some other business owner decides to come and sit us down at the table and talk about it, right? And finally, after weeks and weeks of talking about it, which is the actual case, because don't think for the life of you that Trump hasn't been doing this for weeks now. He's been at it since before he came into office. As far as his people are saying that he's been talking to Iran and Israel since before he came into office about calming their nerves. Now, that businessman convinces you and I to cut this mess out.
Okay.
And because me and you are both losing money, we're losing customers, we're losing business, we get it. We're going to stop. Me and you agree that at closing hours tomorrow, we're going to completely stop all of the shenanigans.
No more smear campaigns.
No more none of that.
No more anything, right?
But while you're just sleeping in your bed, I get it in my mind. I can make 10 more posters. I can do 2 more advertisements, and I can file 2 more lawsuits in that amount of time.
You would.
That's what Israel did, yo.
That's it.
So no, that's not good business. So yes, I understand why Trump will be frustrated, because once again, if you are if the whole entire world is on your shoulders as the most powerful person in the world, and you got two people that you really, I mean, and I actually heard him say this, okay? When he thinks of them as young men or young boys that have been fighting, and then finally I have to go outside and get them to stop fighting. That's how he looks at them. So
That's
now,
leadership.
yeah, so essentially what he's saying is he went back in the house and he looked out the window, and the motherfucker's about he's out there kicking him in the leg again. Right? The other kid got his back turned and he's just sitting there kicking him. Right? So I mean, even though I will never be a supporter of Iran, my Bible tells me to pray for Iran. My Bible tells me to pray for Israel. My Bible tells me to pray for Iraq, so on and so forth. Because if you look at it, it was telling the I'm sorry, I'm waiting on these planes to fly over.
No, it's okay.
Give me a second. Okay, so if you look at it, you're essentially turning the country of Israel, like you're looking at Israel and you're trying to say that they're protecting themselves, but not that time. No, you weren't trying to protect yourself. You were trying to get a last fuck you in. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yep.
And why wouldn't that piss off daddy? You see what I'm saying? Why wouldn't that piss off daddy?
But what about the rest of the world? Because like I'm processing this with you, Israel has it bad on both sides, and they're criticized on all sides for responding well.
That's Democrats being Democrats, bro. You can
it's not even really about Democrats, though, for real. It's because everyone's dumb now. Everyone's soft now. Everyone is weak now. And I'm going to make this point because it's been bothering me for 3 years now. Mm-hmm. I see it in education. Young people are not learning. I don't care what state you're in, what city you're in. I'm not blaming COVID-19, but I have dedicated my life to education, and our young people are literally getting dumber by the day. They have more technology than there's ever been in the history of humanity, but they don't have a desire to learn the truth. Now, it's further complicated because of all the political issues we're talking about. They don't trust anyone. And these kids have all the information of ever at their fingertips, but no one's able to execute and think critically. Our problems are so multifaceted, and I think that we would really fail as a global community if we don't respond to this appropriately. I'm not even criticizing Trump.
Yeah, and I mean, nothing you said was wrong. Everything you said was absolutely true. But the fact of the matter is the only pushback that I would give is if I got a bunch of kids that's sitting in a classroom, right, and I'm upset at home that they're not getting the information, they're not receiving information. Who am I going to be upset with besides the school? Correct?
Parents.
No, I mean they're not going to get any information about how to read and write from parents at school while they're at school. I mean,
right.
What I'm simply saying is, yes, I mean, you train up a child in the way they should go. Yes, absolutely. And you want to model good ideas and good ideals around your kids. You want to model good morals. You want to have a good moral compass if you have children. Yes.
Talk to me about that piece. Parents are not doing what they need. I'm not blaming parents, but I'm telling you, it's a new move now. Parents want to try to put it all on the teachers and say that they're not learning at school. They can't do anything but learn at school. They don't know enough. And then I'm telling you, when they go home, it's not that it all falls on the parent. It's the kid. We have to create a society again. That's what's missing. I think that we've created all these digital encampments. I think that there's all these digital delusions and places for people to stuff their attention, but their minds and their souls and their spirits aren't there, if that makes sense. That was the point.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm talking about the education aspect. right? Because I mean, you have to be honest with yourself and admit that you're only going to get education one of two ways. You're going to get it at home, or you're going to get it at school.
Right.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
you have a good percentage of smart, and I do mean smart, very smart parents that have decided to homeschool their kids, and as a result, their kids are going to be a lot smarter than the kids in public schools. Now, that doesn't mean that they have every tool in their toolbox, though, because there are some tools that you can't get while at home. You know what I'm saying? So, I think that toolbox and, loading that toolbox is multifaceted. And I would say yes, in that sense, it does depend on the community to do so. Right. But when it comes to actual schooling, when it comes to, the education aspect and how, we have decided to teach our children, which is in schools. Right.
Yeah.
So I am relying on that system to be accurate.
Effective. Yeah.
I mean, effectiveness matters based on the child, I think. Because if he's not listening, it doesn't matter what she's saying. Whether she's lying or telling the truth, it doesn't matter. He's not listening. He's not going to get an effective education. That's his fault.
But accuracy.
But accuracy of the information that's going out. If the information that's going out is tainted by how I feel, then it's not accurate. Now, if I can base my feelings on accurate information, that's my right. True?
Yeah.
Okay, and I think that's the right that we are giving to children, is to base their feelings based on information. The problem is the information they're getting is normally not accurate.
Okay,
right?
I can get with that.
So, this is what I have seen that I think is causing the issue that you're having. And this is why I say it's political. Okay? Because
you might be right.
what you don't have on the right, what you don't have is women telling men that they don't need them. Right? So if you don't have a woman saying that I don't need you, then you're not emasculated.
Yes.
Right? So if your woman tells you that you are a necessity in her life, that gives you a sense of motivation. True?
Absolutely.
Okay. That is a norm for ages. We're talking start of the world to now. Right?
But listen, but we got to talk about that, though.
All of a sudden, we got a bunch of women running around acting like they have no need for men. But these women are still running around having kids. So if you're still having kids, but you have no need for a man, now who also doesn't have use of a man?
Yes. But let's talk about this, please, because this could get really interesting, because I've been making this point for years, and I say it a lot. It's not literally what I mean, but the whole, you call them liberals, you try to call everybody a Democrat when they act soft. Spanking your kids.
They soft.
But spanking your kids is a hot button issue now, a topic, and it just sends people into a tizzy. They don't actually process it. And I've implicated it so many times in our young people murdering each other because there's no authority, there's no leadership, there's no fathers. The children, the young people, they police themselves and they have no respect for life. This is nothing new. We've seen it for the last 40 years, but now there's nothing in the ecosystem that's a greater predator than our weak children that kill each other, if that makes sense. And I throw this out a lot because you can identify the, I don't want to say bad moms, but the soft-minded moms, because they're so afraid of discipline. And I think it comes from them knowing that they need discipline and their child will certainly receive it. I'll stop there.
Interesting. I don't know. I mean, I think that discipline is a hallmark of a respectable person. Right? I mean, I don't think anybody that is loved in this world, and I do mean loved, I don't mean has a bunch of fans, right? So for instance, let me just pull a name out the hat.
Uh-oh.
Give me a Let's go with Lil Anybody.
Baby. I just said baby because that was the first Lil I could think of. Lil Yachty, Lil
Yeah.
Wayne. Which one?
Oh, let's go with Lil Yachty.
All right.
Let's go with him. Let's just use him as an example.
Okay.
His fans don't look to him for guidance. They don't look to him for knowledge. They don't look to him to even learn what it means to look like, seem like, feel like a grown man. Why?
You preaching now.
You wonder why, right? I mean, like you gotta wonder why. Like why aren't these attributes so evident in you?
Being a daddy has been beaten out of our society. No one wants to answer to a man, a black man, or a young man. Don't let you be all three.
Right. Yeah.
It sickens me with society because I have conversations with people in so many different environments, and I hate when older people told us this, the destruction of society. It's eroding. Our foundation is going away because what you said, women are still having sex, but they're not procreating. They might accidentally get pregnant, but have you noticed that the life, the essence of the world, it's declining. And it's declining really fast in countries like ours. Our population is so old. No one is having kids. We're at the first point where more people are single than married. It's just a lot of moral decay, and we won't address it, Doug. I'm telling you.
That's what I'm saying. That I mean, you say that. I mean, I don't think you actually feel that way. I think you're just pointing out facts. But you may say that I'm pinning it all on liberals, but that's what I am doing.
Sure.
I am pinning it all on liberals because the idea of being a liberal thinker means thinking outside the box. Yes.
But they don't though. They're not good thinkers.
They're taking something that works, like a two-parent household system is the Obama said this, that a two-parent household system is perhaps the best, gives the best possibility to a child.
It's called deconstruction or destruction. Yes.
Well, what their idea is their idea. So if you're trying to deconstruct a good thing, you to create a bunch of bad things and call them good then. Okay.
You preaching, yes.
I mean, the Bible says, "Woe to those that call things good, call bad things good, and good things bad." I mean, now you see what that woe is. You've created a country that is uninhabitable. Excuse me.
It's so real though. Like it's not even funny. It's hard to people can't see it.
It's hard to live here now. I mean, a person that gets up every day at the break of dawn to go out into his own fields and get as many crops as he can, and then he has to sell those crops to the government so that or to a business so that they can be distributed across the world. He may not experience the things that you and I have to experience on a daily basis, and the only reason is because his entire life, his entire ecosystem, everything is right there at the house, right? So he doesn't have a big problem, even though he probably would see it on TV and be like, "Ah, man, that's terrible," but it's not affecting him, right? But you and I, we send our kids to public schools, right? So those ideals, or those ideologies rather, that have tainted college students in the past 30 years, they're now at those people have now created books, and those books are now being taught in those colleges. So it's become an issue that has only been grafted by those that believe in socialist ideas, those that believe in communist ideas, and you won't see that on the right. But you will see that in your favorite people like Ocasio-Cortez and the Muslim chick from
Minnesota.
Sudan. Yeah. Oh yeah. I guess she's from Minnesota. You never know, because she hates America so much. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that you can go on TV right now and look at the riots in LA and see kids burning their American flag and getting
the Mexican ones.
That's a problem to me. That's the problem. That tells me that these kids have no idea what they're doing.
I want to talk about the protest, but before we get to that, it's exactly what you said. And it's so real. The liberal thing. All the ideas that we knew better than are now mainstream. You don't burn flags. You don't disrespect your country. You don't violate universal law. There is a respect and a sanctity for life. Like there's so many tenets of a good society that are gone.
Exactly.
And it's because we have a million alternative realities. Everyone lives in their own little bubble. There's no such thing as a society. We have no fabric. There's no common culture. And we talk about Black people all the time because I do think that Black culture has changed or evolved. And I don't know if we've gotten more Europeanized. I don't know if we've gotten more demonized, Americanized, or what. But Black people have cats now. Black people don't care about anything sensible, and our culture has become a bit of a mockery. I didn't understand that until I left DC. When I started going to other places, small places, down south, man, I hate life. They're fucking dumb. People are stupid. People don't have any culture, class, or clout. And it's all about what you're talking about. Deconstruction, destruction.
Yeah. Think about it from a leader standpoint, right? Now, so you are a leader of children. From what if I know you, and I think I do.
Sure.
Education of children matter to you more than most parents.
Yeah, and that's the problem because I'm starting to come off of it because the parents are the problem. Our system is broken because why the fuck do I care that your mom's a swinger? I don't care that you have like the personal lifestyle choices that parents make has invaded the school system. And I'll leave it there.
Ooh.
It's true. You can't educate young people anymore. I'm trying to tell you because we have a problem in our society with men. I led this whole segment with Donald Trump for the visceral reaction from people because they hate a man to be a man. Our president is defending us from war. It doesn't matter if I voted for him or not. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't. But he's the president, and I respect the leaders of this country. I respect racist ass police officers. I respect everyone because it's the right thing. And my moral compass must guide me. Society is not guided by a compass.
Interesting.
I'm just saying.
It's figuratively saying it is guided by a compass. I mean, it is a figurative way of saying it, and it just means that you're following true north, right? So, I mean, back to the matter. You're absolutely right in with the idea that society has come to the point where they hate strong men.
Yeah,
right? You can see that when you're demonified for saying that a man can't be a woman. You know what I mean? Just the fact that you can't say that without people going crazy, like, oh my God, he's not letting people do what they want to do. Nigga, you ain't supposed to do what you want to do. The whole idea behind rules and laws is to keep people from doing what they want to do.
But it's paternalistic. That means the father protects, right? And that's what we need.
Yes, sin is internalistic. The Bible says that the heart is eternally wicked. Right? It's eternally wicked. Like your heart, and I do mean you.
Yes, I'm talking to you.
Yes, talking to you and me.
Yeah.
Our ability to do what we want to do is the purpose for law. It's literally to prevent us from doing exactly what we have thought to do. It comes from here.
It's called anarchy, the state of nature.
Yeah. Because essentially what you're doing is you're saying that what is internally happening right here, that is being produced here, when it comes out, it needs to be given all free reign to happen. That doesn't make any sense, because if that were the case, you can't get mad at for a purpose for cutting you off in the street. You can't get mad at a person for speeding and hitting people and keep moving. You can't get mad at a person for burning down a house because he thought it was let's say it was ugly in reference to the rest of the street. Because if you're allowed to act on your own whims and your own thoughts and all of that, you're able to do that based on how you feel. There's no way we can live with one another.
Right.
The idea of having rules and having laws is so that we can all live around one another without hurting each other. I mean, try to make some sense of it. And I think that's the problem with people, is they're so bent up about not being told what to do that they really come up with an ideology that allows them to think that everybody can have their own truth.
But you can't talk to people anymore because of that.
Because they got the truth.
People are so like, they don't want anyone to ruin their day. They don't want anyone to say anything that's contrary to what they've been feeding themselves at home. The media that it's crazy. Like, as a black man in America, there's no way you can tell me that I've loved everything that I've heard over the last 5 decades, because it has not been that. But it hasn't killed me. It hasn't led me down a path of destruction. It's informed me rather well. And empathy is the solution. All you have to do, I don't agree with everybody, but I love to listen to people, especially when they say stuff that I don't agree with, because not quite to the extreme where you at. I don't think everybody should just do what they want to do, but people have some interesting ideas. And then the paternalist in me wants to protect everybody.
Yeah. And I think hear me out, people. Understand where your rights come from. I think the biggest issue with people today is they throw around the words rights and don't even know where they come from. So there's 2 types of rights. There's a God-given right, and there's an agreed upon right. Okay.
Divine rights and legal rights, right?
There you have it.
Okay.
And the reason why I like to call it agreed upon is because it does have to be enacted by Congress, right? So that means they have to vote on it. So if they had to vote on it, that means that they agree that we agreed that we allow y'all to vote on things and put it into law. Right. That's an agreement that didn't come from God, but the idea to do something that smart was given to us by God, right? So, but then you have your inalienable rights, those rights that no man can give to you, no man can take away from you. Your right to live, your right to breathe, your right to eat, to those rights, those things that a person can't take from you. Now they can limit them.
Yeah.
They can limit them. I mean, a person that goes to prison, they only get to eat when they told to eat. They only get to go outside when they told to go outside. So since you ain't never been to prison, stop acting like you in jail because you don't get to do what you want to do. Because if a person if they take your true freedom, you know what I'm saying? They tell you what you're going to wear. They tell you what you're going to do.
Yeah.
They're going to give you the time stipulations to do it. And the only time you're going to get to feel like you have power is amongst the motherfuckers that's in the prison with you. But you don't have no power outside of that. You can't even say I'm leaving tomorrow.
Don't get to talking about.
You see what I'm saying? I'm just saying. So I mean, like, if you're trying to build a society that allows people to have some more, space in their thought processes, you might want to take an economics course, take a what are those courses called where they kind of just teach you about what's going on in the world?
Civics or current events?
Take a civics class. Okay. Like, if you know what's going on, you don't have to try to make it up yourself. You know what I'm saying?
That's the problem, Doug. I want to close on this. It's called body dysmorphia, right? When you want to change your body. I think we have social dysmorphia. People don't like who they see at the top or who they assume to be at the top, right? They don't like the way that they act. They don't like the way that they think. They don't like the way that they talk. And they certainly don't like the way that they look.
Yeah.
So with those four aspects and dimensions, people go the opposite direction of those a-holes that they hate. But those four qualities are pillars not only of success, but society. Because we have all these personality wars and disdain for, we'll call them moral and righteous people, because everybody that's in a position doesn't make them moral and righteous. I don't have to say that Donald Trump is a good person, a righteous person. I don't say anything about him, but I don't have to say anything bad about him either. Because to be honest, I don't know this man. I don't need to know this man.
I don't know.
It's wild to me. It's wild to me because I do this show all the time and I love having conversations with what you call Democrats because they don't like, what is his name, 45 or 47 or Agent Orange or whatever you want to call them. People want to go at power like cowards. Are you a fool? You think that you talking crazy is going to take anything away from not just the billionaire, not just the president, but one of God's children? You sound crazy to me. So I just say that because I think that's what time it is. Yeah. I tell you what I see, and you've seen it too in education. Our young people are so unmotivated. They're so uninterested. It's our fault. I'm not going to put it on the kids. It's our fault because we allow our children to have too many liberties, too many distractions, and not enough love. Yeah. Love doesn't have to be terse. It doesn't have to be abusive. Protection doesn't have to feel suffocating. Yeah. It can feel really freeing because you know that you will be provided for, you are secure, and that you'll be here for the fight tomorrow. But those are the things that I've been seeing lately, and I just don't understand how a society has been so blinded because this same white man that you just talking crazy about, he's getting all the money. His friends are getting all the money, and we're getting further behind because we refuse to stop being blind.
Yeah, well, I don't understand people. You know me. I don't like people enough to try to understand them. My whole thing is, you control what you can, right? Like I'm a firm believer in trying to control the things I can control. And what is that saying?
The divinity prayer, serenity prayer.
Yeah. How's it go? Lord,
God, give me the grace to control the things that I can, to pray on the things that I can. Let me not mess up the serenity prayer. Hey, Alexa.
You know what I mean, right?
Alexa, tell me the serenity prayer.
Serenity prayer, according to Wikipedia, is God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference.
So now I want to talk about that middle piece, the courage to change the things that I can.
Okay.
Just because you because you thought in your mind of an alternate reality doesn't mean that you can change those things.
Man, stop. This internet's gonna blow up.
I really wanted to just say that to somebody. Just because you have thought of another way does not mean that a society will accept your change. So whoever these fools were, now I honestly believe, let me say this first before I say anything.
Yeah.
My generation, anybody that was born in the 80s and 90s, we fucked up this country.
Thank you.
We fucked up this country.
Because we want to love our kids so much.
I don't care how anybody feels about that. Yes, it wasn't your daddy. If you around my age, if you were somewhere between the ages of 30 and 45, yes, nigga, it was you. It was you. Why? Because you have decided not to whoop your kids. You've decided not to give your kid whatever she wants. I don't know how in the world I can walk in a child's room and they got more pairs of shoes than me.
My
Like, I
pops
just
is a
don't get it.
veteran,
You know
a
how much
former
shoes
coal miner,
Like,
a
you know how much
business owner. He didn't play. He didn't play.
$300 a pair these days. And I went to LA, and these little niggas are walking around in $600-700 pairs of shoes.
Yeah, yeah.
And my question to you all is, this is my question to you all. Those of you that are willing to go buy these things for your kids.
Right.
For what reason do you think they're going to change their mind when they turn your age and say, I'm not living right? If they've been rewarded for the dumb shit you've doing and the dumb shit they doing. Now, I'm not going to say every kid fits that bill. I'm not going to say that. Sure. I can say that. And the only reason I can say that is because Junior up there getting all A's.
Right, right.
Junior up there getting all A's. He ain't bothering with no girls. He ain't trying to figure out what his dick do. He just getting all A's.
Right.
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 So right now, I'm in a particularly advantageous situation to guide my son to righteousness. Right. But our generation, we got a mixed bag. We got motherfuckers that have decided that God isn't real. We got people that have decided that God can be whatever we want him to be.
Right.
We have gotten to we got people in our generation that have decided that truth can be multifaceted. Right? It can be more than one thing. We got people in our generation that have created the mindset that truth can be whatever I want it to be and call it my own. I heard Nipsey Hussle say on one of his songs, God bless his soul, he said, spoke some things into the air and they happened. And I'm sitting here like, that nigga couldn't have been that dumb. Like, you couldn't have been that dumb. Like, I know for a fact Nipsey Hussle was probably wiser than most people around him, right? But before you to take some Eastern concept like thinking something into reality tells me that you're not completely there.
No, that's society. That's society. I've read The Secret and I've noticed everything. I'd say this all the time in church. We try to devolve God into a genie.
Yeah.
And that's unfair. And I think that's a reflection of our society. We don't have any investment. Spiritually, we're not connected. So all the BS that you see in society is exactly like you said, like Nipsey said, it's straight out the air.
Well, the funny part about what you just said, I think the reason why we don't have any investment into our own spiritual lives is because we don't have a reason for it, right? So if I think that my truth is my truth, and it's true because it's my truth,
right?
If I think that, then when I slap a woman, that's not wrong.
Right.
I steal your stuff, that's not wrong.
Right.
You know
it's
why?
A lack of morals.
Because there's no such thing as sin if truth can be whatever I want it to be. There's no such thing. What does the word sin mean? Sin is a Hebrew word that means outside of God's will, right?
Okay.
For you, anything outside of God's will is a sin. Okay, so anything, right? So if I slapped a woman and she didn't deserve it, or she did deserve it, that's battery. Yes. Yeah. Now we've agreed. We've made a legal agreement as far as men that hitting a person is battery and against the law. So no matter how you look at it, whether you look at it from a human standpoint or you look at it from a faith-based standpoint, you're not going to find a way to get me to believe that it's okay to hit her just because you think it's okay, right? It's not. You're not going to be convinced. I mean, so we nobody goes around saying it's okay to steal, right? Nobody goes around saying it's okay to murder. Right. But if what you say is true, that everybody can have their own truth, then it might be true for him that it's okay to murder. In which case, there's no such there shouldn't be such thing as prisons. There shouldn't be such thing as jail. There shouldn't be such thing as handcuffs. You know what I'm saying? The reason for handcuffs is restraining people from doing what they want to do. You didn't know that, huh? You thought it was trying to. I bet you thought the only reason for handcuffs was twofold: sex and police. No, dummy. The reason for handcuffs is to keep you from doing what you have told the world that you want to do, no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what. Now, I'll close by saying this. Yes, President Trump was obviously disgusted.
Mm-hmm.
He was obviously disgusted. And for those of you that actually do follow politics, it should make you feel some type of way of who he's actually disgusted with. Because he's actually disgusted with the people that you say he allows to do anything, that he's willing to do anything for, so on and so forth. But his issue right now is with Israel. That's who the issue is with up here. You see what I'm saying? But a smart leader doesn't just turn around and say, fuck it, I'm bombing everybody.
Right.
They take what they got, they go listen to their advisors, and we try to come up with a way to work this all out, because still the ceasefire is still in effect. Iran hasn't retaliated. Iran hasn't said anything. Iran is just sitting. And if I was a betting man, because I know that their military isn't anywhere near Israel and is light years away from America. Knowing that, you didn't know that. I know you didn't know that.
I know they have a lot of planes. I know that
No.
Iran has a lot of planes, and the country has like 90 million people, because Tucker Carlson really went in on Ted Cruz about that not too long ago. So I know those things.
I honestly think, even though I love the interview, I honestly think that Tucker really didn't get anything accomplished in the interview, because the whole time he was just trying to catch cousin a got you moment, because he never liked him. Right. So I mean,
he had a herpes flare too. So I mean, I understand he was probably on edge, because we all saw that red dot on his lip like it was a sniper in the room.
I'll just say this. Let me see if I can regather my thought. I would venture to say this as an American. Okay. Two things. One, me having melanin doesn't change my situation if I don't. Okay. Because when I look at my bank account, it doesn't ask me every time, are you white or black? Because I can change what's going on if you're white. It never asks me that. I'm just black. Right. According to you all. According to you all, I'm a black man. With that being said, nothing is going to nothing about that situation changed for black people that didn't change for white people. We are all Americans. They hate us. They hate us, period. They don't hate you any more or any less based on your color. Even if you in Iran, if you are in Iran, if you're in America right now and you are how do you say it?
Iranian.
Yeah, if you're an Iranian, they hate your ass too. they hate your guts. Why? Because you're an American now.
Yeah. Right? Because you can be Persian American as long as you banging that red, white, and blue.
Right. So I mean, my whole thing, like I said, this is what I want to say. I want to speak directly to you liberals. Okay. Directly to you liberals. Sit down somewhere. Just go sit down somewhere. You lost. You had literally 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You had 12 years to try this, to make this work for you.
Biden and Obama.
Okay. If I want to add Obama, I can go even more. If we want to use all of his career, then liberals have had so much time to put their thought processes into effect. Now, here's the thing. If anything you said made sense, it'd be law. It'd be law. But it's never going to be a law to call a man a woman. Why? Because it's impossible to be a woman if you're a man. It's never going to be a law for me to celebrate Juneteenth just because you niggas want to celebrate Juneteenth. That's your business.
No, it's a law. It's a federal law. That's what federal holiday means.
It's a federal holiday. It's not a law.
It's federally recognized. You're right. It's not. You can't
Yeah, I
make anything a law technically, right? It's
Trump can
just
go outside and recognize the curb when he sees it. That doesn't mean that I got to go out there and recognize the curb too. It's still just a fucking curb to me, right?
right.
So you got plenty of people out there that don't celebrate Christmas. Most of them are called Jehovah's Witness. They don't have any problem with Jesus though.
Jews don't have a problem with Jesus, nor do Muslims.
Well, I'm pretty sure Jews have plenty of problems with Jesus, and
They
Muslims don't know Jesus. So that we can make a different conversation about that. So I'll enlighten you on that too. But
absolutely, because we're gonna get together on a different platform and we're gonna talk about Abrahamic religions.
I just say that if there are laws in effect, there's laws on the books, then as an American, it's up to you to follow them and to obey them. Why? Because you voted on people to put up there in Washington to make those laws.
Yeah.
Now they making the laws, they send them down, and we as citizens have to follow them. With that being said, you're an asshole if you're out there burning American flags. You're an asshole if you're out there celebrating the Mexican flag. You're an asshole if you're out there wearing an Iranian flag. You're an asshole. Why? Because I don't know what people understand about immigration, and like I said, I'll leave it at this. Mm-hmm. It's incredibly hard to be an American. It's incredibly hard, especially if you come from a different country. If you're coming from a country, the immigration process is difficult. You have to know those civic things that me and you just talked about. You know what I mean? The branches of government, so on and so forth. You gotta study that because you want to prove that you want to be here. Right. Now, for all of you that are out there on the streets, kill yourself. Why? Because your mom and your dad probably had to go through all of that.
I love life. I don't want anybody to
they probably had to go through all that. I mean it figuratively. I just mean for them to sit down somewhere. I'm just saying. I mean, if your mom and your dad had to fight for immigration to be a part of this country, then who are you to say that to hell with this country? Because your mom and your dad ain't going nowhere. They're not gonna say, well, we should just go back to Iran then because they're not treating them like we want them to treat them. No, they said to hell with Iran a long time ago when they came to America.
It's the way we live as Americans, though. You can't go anywhere else once you're here. But once you taste that American freedom, you want to talk all that American-ish. And that's the conundrum of being an American. It's the freest place on earth.
I should just go live in Iran. Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah, I dare. I lived in Iraq for one straight year. I was stationed in Iraq for one straight year. I dare you to go live in Iraq.
You laughing at them, bro.
I dare you, bro. I swear, if you make it through the month, especially if you're a woman, there's no way you make it through the month.
It's like 100. It's crazy out there. Yeah, I know. I've heard.
The temperature alone would kill people. But I'm just saying the ideals, the fact that you're going to have to be Muslim. Right, you're gonna have to be.
Is Shia? Iraq is a Shia country.
Well, I don't know. I mean, none of that shit's true anyway, so it don't matter.
I don't remember what Saddam was, but the Ba'athist Party was that, and I don't know. I don't remember what kind of Muslims they are, but Sharia law gets in you, boy. That's the.
It's gonna get.
We don't talk about it. We don't talk about it.
Imagine that. Imagine being in a country where now, because you're a woman, you don't get to dress where you want to dress no more. Imagine that. Just imagine that. And don't sit here and
go to Dubai. They can't even go to Dubai on vacation.
You can't even go to Dubai. You can't even drink in Dubai. You can't even drink in Dubai.
Too many rules.
Yeah, Dubai is a dry country. You can't drink there.
But it's crazy how America is. We want to drag our culture around everywhere like it's a license to do as we please.
Well, that's the hallmark of being an American.
Yeah,
is that as long as you follow the civic laws that we put into place so that we keep everybody safe, right? Because if you really think about every law that's on the books, they're not dedicated to men or women or black or white or gay or not. They're dedicated to age groups, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's the only time you'll see a dedication of a law is in reference to age groups. You shouldn't be drinking at the age of 12. You shouldn't. You shouldn't be drinking at the age of 12. If you're going, I mean, so here's my thing. Here's my thing, and this is only because I've been deployed before. If you deployed, nobody should be able to tell you what you can and can't consume. Right? I mean, I honestly believe that if a person is going to put their body on the line for a country, then certain things should be allowed for them, right? But as far as the laws on the books right now, you don't have any laws that prohibit you from being the type of woman you want to be, or the type of man that you want to be. But the type of citizen that you want to be all depends on if what you do can hurt another person, can mess up another person's stuff, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. If that's the only thing that's preventing you from doing what you want to do, then you need to be in prison now.
I think that's it, though. We've just gone too far. People's rights have grown too big, and I'm not trying to take them away, but we're gonna see
people's rights have changed. People's rights have not changed. People have gotten to the point where they think they have rights that don't exist.
They're making up their own rights.
Yeah, let me give an example. I think they refer to it as
sovereign citizens,
gender health care or some shit like that.
Gender affirming
healthcare. Now, if you can find that in any law, I'll listen to what you have to say. But until then, there's no such thing as a right to a gender affirming care. Why is there no right to a gender affirming care? Because most, if not all, doctors are free licensed doctors, meaning that they have their own license to practice the type of things that they want to practice, right? And then they get certifications, and they either work at a hospital or they get their own practice, so on and so forth, right? The business that you handle with that doctor is based on two things: what you can afford and what your insurance is willing to pay out for. Nothing else. So there's no rights involved here. I just told you exactly what happens at a supermarket. The same thing happens at a supermarket. What you can afford and what the police, the company is willing to sell. So if they don't sell alcohol at that store, they're not taking away the rights to drink. They just don't sell it there. Yeah. Right. So it's the same thing. That's why it's called a free market system. Everything we do is based on the market. It's not based on
a lack of government intervention, like you just said.
The whole idea is telling the government, I don't need you to tell me how to run my business. Right. So I'm going to pay taxes so that everybody can live comfortably in this country, as a business owner, as a homeowner, so on and so forth. As a rich person, in case y'all didn't know, the 1% is paying your taxes right now. But I'll leave that alone. What I will say is this. Your rights aren't based on how you feel. They're not based on what makes you comfortable. They're not based on who you are as a person. They're based on the laws that are put into place. If they're on the books, just follow them. You know why? Because it makes everybody around you safer. Just follow them. You know you're not allowed to burn stuff in the middle of the street. I don't care how you feel about it. You're not allowed to burn stuff in the middle of the street. You're not allowed to walk in the middle of the street. Why? Because cars are meant for the street. Right. That's why you're not allowed to walk. You know why jaywalking is a ticket? Like, that's why. Because cars are meant to drive without stopping.
Thank you.
It's really simple. Really simple.
Yeah. It's just we've gotten too selfish. And I mean, I'm at the point now, I am a little frustrated because I'm invested. I go to these communities, I do my thing, and it breaks my heart that kids, they're becoming dull instead of dumb. I'll say dull. Their skills are just not strong, and then their compassion is horribly off. Their ability to empathize, process information, and to just be amiable, I can see, essentially from my observation, poor kids have become rich kids, and rich kids have become poor kids.
And what do you mean when you say that?
You know how I grew up poor. I was always told I had to go to school. I had to do this. There was hoops you had to jump through, right? That is now being rich. But all the bad behavior goes to rich people. Just like you talk about liberals a lot. You realize that our political violence is actually committed by the right now. It used to be committed by the left because that's what the left was. But
You
the
have to,
right,
you got to
the
convince.
right is right, and they win.
You have to actually convince me of stuff that you say when you say stuff like that.
Insurrection, January 6th.
Whoa! Whoa! Let's not try to list that as if it's something that we can. Let's use that now. Tell me how many people were killed during January 6th? Tell me.
A cop,
what side of the fence was she on?
It was a white woman killed by a black cop. You know who it was. It was a DC cop. We was there. But
my question to you is, what side of the aisle was she on?
Oh, okay. She was conservative, I'm assuming.
She was a conservative, and she was killed during a conservative protest. So my question to you:
what about the other thousands of violent conservative protesters? Because they didn't kill anyone, we're just gonna look the other way. Okay.
So my question to you is, what is your definition of violence now? Because violence happens from one person to the next.
That black man that shot her was being punched. He was being tased. He was being crushed. They had doors thrown on him. He shot to get his way out, and he just killed a woman.
I feel like you made all of that up.
No, it was a black dude.
You kind of did. You kind of just made that up.
So what did I make up?
You just made up the fact that he was jumped, and the reason why he killed her was to get out of being jumped.
He was in the doorway, and the crowd was crushing him.
I would say this.
They were tasing him. They were crushing him with. That was true.
So watch this, guys. Watch this, and I challenge anybody to prove me wrong. Okay. I've watched hundreds of hours now of January 6th. I've watched hundreds of hours.
Okay.
In the majority of the hours that I watched, police and Capitol Police stood idle. Nobody was trying to keep anybody out. Hold on. Yes. Wait. Because if you disagree with me, then people are going to say that he really didn't know what he was talking about. So I'm trying to give you an out. Just listen, okay?
You were there. I left work that day. I wasn't playing with it.
So that's what I'm saying. And I mean, two things are true.
Yeah.
Two of these things are true. One, the doors were wide open, and they were being escorted around the Capitol building. Like the guy that you remember, one with the whole get up on. Remember the
shaman?
You know, he was actually escorted all the way to the floor.
The QAnon shaman. I think he may have been escorted, but people were ahead of them that were ramming through stuff, and he was one of the first ones to get through. Was it to the chamber?
That's what I'm saying. You keep saying the word "through." That's your problem. That's where you're going wrong.
I did see the shaman. He was bouncing around, and they rushed into that tunnel. So I mean, for whatever that's worth.
Watch any of this footage without commentary, okay? Because your biases are going to continuously jump in and change your feelings about what you're actually seeing. You won't believe your lying eyes, okay? This is the problem with when people have an ideology and they have a video. When you have two,
I seen the video though. I remember that black lady that the Capitol Police executed for having her car too close on the outside. Yet we let all these people inside. I'm not debating who's better or worse. I'm just saying.
So I think if I heard you correctly, you said we let all these other people in. That's what you said. You said we let people in.
You said that they were right. I'm conceding your point. You're saying that they were escorting them. I've seen the video where they forced their way in, and those two things can be true.
Yeah, because I mean, a big enough crowd it's really hard to control. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't doubt for any life of me that there were people within that crowd that were hell bent on getting through, whether it be a window or a door. I
They
don't
had
doubt.
mace. They had tasers.
I
They
don't
had
doubt.
weapons.
But what I will say is this, and this is what people tend to chalk up as conspiracy.
Mm.
Are you willing to bet me that there weren't Antifa people there?
No, I know they were there. Just like they're in California.
Right. Now, if I was Antifa, would I dress up as Antifa or would I dress up like everybody else around me?
You know the answer to this.
Okay. So I don't know who did what. All I know is that when I was looking at the police, and the reason I like to go back to the police is because I want to know, right, why we keep calling it a riot. Because if the police weren't trying to keep anybody out, let alone they were letting them in. Okay, I saw people break a window. Yeah, I did see that. That's against the law. Those people need to go to jail.
Thank you. I don't know about even all that, but yes.
I mean, they probably already in jail for all I know.
Trump pardoned all of them, and half those people got rearrested, which is the point I made at the top.
Yeah, what I'm simply saying is this.
Mm-hmm.
If you have Capitol Police and DCPD not arresting people, not only are they not arresting people, they're also escorting them through the Capitol building. This doesn't sound like a riot to me.
I hear your point.
It sounds like confusion that somebody picked the opportunity to control on the basis of the narrative.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So if I'm gonna call myself a conservative or a liberal, it doesn't really matter. If I can just look at like I said, there's hundreds of hours of video now. There's so much that's been turned in. You're not gonna find it all on YouTube. You got to figure out a way to get it. Okay? If you care enough to stop calling something that was unfortunate at best, at best,
a riot.
You're calling it violent. It wasn't violent. It wasn't violent, especially in comparison to the riots that were going on around the country at the time. Remember the Summer of Love? You know how many people died in San Francisco? You know how many people died in Chicago?
You're talking about, okay, now, yes, 1969, there was like riots in 200 cities.
About the first month of Biden's inauguration, I'm right after he got inaugurated. You know how many people died? Like, all you got to do is just Google it, you guys. Like, just find out. Ask yourself a question. Is there a difference between the riots that happened, let's just say in California this past week, and January 6th? Can we call both riots? Right? And if you have to decide, I want to be able to define what a riot is, then one of them can't be a riot because they look totally different. They look totally different. That kid that was on trial for killing the other kid, the two.
Oh, Rittenhouse.
Huh?
Rittenhouse.
Yeah, Rittenhouse. Okay, so the situation that he was engaged in at the time was an actual riot. It was an actual riot. Not.
I feel very funny about that one. I will not.
I'm simply talking about what's going on around him. I'm not talking about the specific situation that he entailed. No, I don't think he murdered anybody, but that's not the point. My point is what was actually occurring in that city was an actual riot. The reason why he was there was he was protecting his friend's mom's store. So why would you be protecting a store if everybody's just peacefully walking down the street with their picket signs?
Wasn't he the only one that killed someone that day, though?
Okay, he a good shot.
I'm gonna leave it alone.
He a good shot.
Oh,
I can't be mad about the fact that the boy a good shot.
God is good.
Bro, if you had a gun right now, and somebody was about to kill you, what would you do?
A skinny skateboarder that weighs 120 pounds.
What would you do? I asked you, what would you do?
I'm nimble on my feet, my G. I would have ducked. I wouldn't have bust.
So what you're saying,
another way of handling it.
What you're saying is, if you had a sword back in the Middle Ages, you would have ducked. You would have bucked. You would have.
That's combat. That's combat.
Out of here, man. Stop lying, man.
Two soldiers on the field don't come that close with rifles, bro. Like,
bro,
come on.
If you're gonna hit me with a skateboard and I got a gun, you might get hit with a bullet, bro.
I mean, and you're right.
Okay, then. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I just don't think it was fair. I think that
Nobody's going to.
I have thoughts.
Your ideals are warped based on the color of that boy's skin. They
were both white. They were both white.
I'm being honest, man.
They were both white kids. I don't like the fact that this kid left Illinois. He wasn't even 18 when he got the gun. It's so many legal issues.
So what?
He goes up there and he killed another kid. I'll leave it alone.
See, this is what he did, guys. What Brian just did was he took the narrative and he tried to make it seem as if the reason why Rittenhouse went over there was to kill somebody. That's what he just did.
Okay,
now,
I did do that. I did jump my logical conclusion because maybe he didn't leave to kill that day. He just put himself in a position to do it.
He put himself in a position to. So what you're saying is everybody that owns a gun right now, the reason why they bought the gun is put themselves in a position to murder someone.
You protect your home with
I'm protecting my home. He wasn't protecting
rifle,
something.
right? A shotgun, or even if you have a pistol. This kid took the show on the road, but I respect. I feel a way about it, and he's hailed as a hero, and I get it. A lot of people respected that.
I honestly think he, like, after the fact, he just went weird. But I'm not talking about him. Okay, I don't care anything about Rittenhouse. I'm just talking about the act itself and what was the atmosphere itself. That's where I'm really trying to gear into is the atmosphere.
Yeah.
A lot of people died that summer, bro. A lot of people.
Yeah.
Okay. So regardless of whether Rittenhouse shot somebody or not, hundreds of people died that summer. Okay. So with that being said, if those riots never happened, those people might still be alive.
But your juxtaposition is a foul. Okay.
I'm just saying.
I'm
just saying. If there was never a reason to protect the store, I wouldn't be trying to find a way to get to protect a store in Boston if I don't live there. Like if there was never a reason to protect the store,
right?
But if my best friend's mom, and I don't remember if this is the story, but if my best friend mom is nervous that her boutique is going to get burned down because the last 16 streets look like that, and he tell me, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do, and I say, man, I'd be there to help you. Well, I'd be there to help you, and in the process, if I gotta deal with some shit, I gotta deal with some shit. But I mean, you're not going to tell me I can't protect my house because what? You're not going to give me, are you going to give me stipulations when you can't protect your house?
No, you can't.
Are you going to give anybody any reason to believe that they can't, let's say, protect the waitress if they're sitting in a restaurant and find out that somebody pulls a knife out on her? You don't think that somebody in the room should be willing to try to help that woman out? All the time, do we really have to look at the why I was at the restaurant? Who gives a fuck why I was at the restaurant? I was there to help. I'm here to help now.
I hear your point. I'm not going to fault you for that.
I mean, like the idea, the whole idea behind January 6th being even a thing is because it would taint President Trump's legacy. That was the whole reason behind it. That's why that's all they talked about for a whole 4 years, right? So for a whole 4 years, all they talked about was January 6th. Why? The reason they talked about January 6th, because they couldn't think of nothing else to talk about. All they talked about was Trump, January 6th for 4 straight years while Biden was in office. But once y'all push Biden out the way and put some bitch that don't know nothing about politics in the reins and say that we want her to be our president, or we don't give a fuck because she black. No, she not. She'll be the first woman. So what?
Why can't we have a whole Negro? That's what I want. I want an organic black man somewhere, right? I said president.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why? How does that help?
Because I don't like how we are delusional. We're fooling ourselves. Obama was biracial. Harris is biracial. Are there no black candidates? And I said it.
What is that? What does that mean?
Nothing. It just means exactly that. It means that we can't be so blind observing race that we are blind to race. Like I just said. There's
You can,
qualifications you can put on it all.
Right.
Instead of us looking at a limitation, we should just be a functioning society.
see, here's my biggest issue with the idea of still needing a black president.
Mm.
This is my biggest issue with it. So if let's just say I work in a regular store and I become the prominent person in that store, you now know that store is successful because of me.
Right.
Why would you attribute that to my color?
No, it's not attributed to your color.
No,
It's
ask the question, how could you?
right.
How could you attribute it to my color? So you can't, right? So the results that I gave you, if you can't attribute them to my color, why do you think me putting somebody in there because of their color are going to attribute good results?
Right. It's the inverse. Right.
It's the inverse. That's all I did was invert it and tell you that one is the same as the other. But the exact opposite has proven true every time. If I'm hiring people based on how they look or how they act or what they do, then I am saying that I don't care about what they can do or what they're willing to do
Essentially.
or how they'll do it. I just care about what it looks like when they're doing it. So what am I saying? I'm saying to the public, I don't care if your food is cooked right. I don't care if your taxes were done correctly. I don't care if your car runs or not. Fact of the matter is, I was trying to make sure I had a black man there to sell it to you.
And that's what our system has devolved to, and we have to do better.
Yeah, we got to do better. Why? So now you got get back to this whole party situation. So everything that I was just arguing against is being pushed by the left party, by the Democratic Party. We're saying they will tell you that diversity is a good thing, right? Like, and my question is, so if you are so pent up on diversity, that means that you have to decide that equality isn't as good.
That's like Bake versus California in
Huh?
the 70s. Bake versus California was one of the first cases for affirmative action. It actually was ruled by the Supreme Court that diversity is a good thing.
That doesn't make it a good thing, bro.
But quotas were eliminated, and that was in the 70s.
It doesn't make it a good thing because there was a point in time when slavery was the law of the land.
Right.
Was it a good thing because it was law? No, it wasn't a good thing. It was that's what happens when you allow men to create law. When you have men create, okay, so the majority of laws right now, if you look at the 10 Commandments and then you look at that law, you can find it how they make it make sense.
Right.
Outside the 10 Commandments, it's really hard for people to make sense of how to treat one another. It's really hard. Try it. I dare anybody to try.
But there's nothing new under the sun, according to that same book.
I'm just saying, you look at the 10 Commandments, they teach you how to live with, around, and under God. Yeah. With people, around other people, and under God. That's the purpose of the 10 Commandments. That's how it teaches you. So if I create a law that is contrary to loving your brother as you love yourself, slavery is now legal. Right. Okay. If I create a law that says is that if I decide that loving your brother and as you love yourself isn't as good, then I don't need to hire 10 black people. I need to hire a few Mexicans so I can make it look like the rest of this city look. No.
There you go.
Stupid. That's stupid. Why? Why is that stupid? Because just because they're Mexican doesn't mean they have the qualifications to work the job.
Or that they love the community that they're in.
Exactly. So they might cut corners, especially if it's food. And how would you
describing Mexican restaurants?
Huh?
Nothing. I said, are you describing Mexican restaurants? Because
what I'm thinking about. I'm just saying, you take a fast food chain, right? Okay, and you got one on one side of town, you got one on the other side of town.
Same. Can we call it Roberto's Tacos?
No, we're gonna call it McDonald's.
Okay.
We call it McDonald's. Why? And the reason I use McDonald's because you know how it's supposed to taste. Okay. Let's see that. So you know the results you're supposed to get no matter what, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So at location A, you have somebody that owns a building and follows laws. At location B, you have somebody that owns the building and cuts corners. Okay? At location A, every applicant that was hired has an application on file, has a background check on file, has references on file, so on and so forth.
Okay.
At location B, that only applies to 4 of the 10 people working there. 2 of them being managers.
Okay.
Okay? The other 2, one's a supervisor in day, one's a supervisor at night. So everybody else doesn't have a resume on file, doesn't have a background check on file, doesn't have credentials on file, references on file. If anything happens and goes wrong at location B, the managers have to either fix it or hide it. And the reason is because I'm not scared to get fired if you're not even supposed to hire me in the first place.
Right.
I'm just saying, if
That's a really good analogy.
If I've hired that many people to work a business, and that many people are unafraid of losing their job because I can go to jail for hiring you in the first place. So you think you got me by the balls because you can complain, or you could say you could just be a whistleblower. Yeah, I'm not even a citizen, and I work there. I've been working there for 20 years. I've been working the same job for 20 years because he can't promote me.
Right.
Right. So you got hundreds of applicants that their applications just sit. Why? Because you got 12 people that don't have applications, but they're working for lesser pay. And because they're working for lesser pay and you want at least minimum wage, I'll be damned. I'm not going to.
When you have subtle dynamics like that.
You see what I'm saying? So this is why laws do matter.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying. I mean, if you're one of the people that believe that people should be able to live anywhere they want to live, do what they want to do when they get there. My question to you is, how many immigrants have you allowed to live in your house this year? How many immigrants have you gave room and board this year? Because I'm be honest with you, I ain't gave not a one. And if I see one, I'm calling the police.
You don't call the police, you call ICE.
Exactly. I should call. Yeah, you're right. I'm calling ICE.
I shouldn't have gave you the ammunition.
You was wrong. I was wrong. You right, B. I got to call ICE. I got to call the ammunition for this problem because it might be more of them out here. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, a person may hear me and say, he racist and da 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 da. I don't care who we talking about. We could be talking about people from Africa.
Well, that's the glaring thing that sticks out, though. We're not deporting Europeans. We're not deporting Asians that we know are coming in through the border.
Prove that we're not deporting Europeans. Go ahead. I'll wait. Go ahead. Yeah, me and the audience gonna sit here right here and wait for you to prove that point because you said it out loud.
Okay. Well, I don't even have to go directly there. I could just say that it might be more effective doing investigations instead of just going to Home Depot, CVS, and places of work or employment where particular people that look or fit a certain description are, because that's what they're doing.
Can you tell me why you're so sure that investigation didn't happen prior to what you saw?
I'm not trying to argue it, but 2 things. I live in Texas, and California and Texas are going through it right now because
why though?
There's a large Latino population in both of these states, and a lot of these people, ancestral home is Mexico. I think they're being targeted because a lot of these guys have Mexican flags. They enjoy Mexican culture, and I'll say they do Mexican things. And the ICE, Kristi Noem, is ethnically targeting people. I'm not out there protesting, but I do see the strategy.
I can't allow you to continuously talk, and I want to let you talk, B.
Yeah.
you say when you throw out stuff
I'm in
like
Texas. I see them doing mad, like it doesn't even seem real type stuff. I actually have to go in 1 minute, but like they're doing stuff that I don't think is even real. It's insulting. They're literally, I'm telling you, I'm here. Abbott, he's targeting taco shops, Home Depots, CVS. Like we watch it every night on the news, man.
if
Like
you was looking
that's
for, our question is, where would you go?
what do you mean?
If you were looking for a burger, where would you go? You go
To a
somewhere
burger.
they cook burgers, right?
See, so how are you criticizing me?
I'm just asking a simple question. If you were looking for a burger, would you go to a burger store or would you go to a taco store?
I'd go to a burger store if I wanted a burger.
Okay, if you are looking for where Mexicans are employed or where they could be hidden, would you go to a black store or would you go to a Mexican store?
You're making my point for me, yes.
No, I'm not. What I'm doing is I'm trying to give you the logic because you said unreal. You said Home Depot. Now, if you think about Home
You're
Depot,
right. Well, yes, that's what I'm saying. It is unreal. It's insensitive, not unreal. Is the word I
and
should
who
have
gives a
used.
damn about being sensitive? I'm trying to protect the people that live in this country legally. It's not about being sensitive. That's what I'm saying. That therein lies the difference between Democrats and Republicans. I don't care about your facts. Don't care about your feelings. They don't.
Bruh,
You didn't vote. So you honestly don't have a voice in this matter. You didn't vote.
I voted.
You voted?
I voted.
Oh,
I voted.
Lord. I need to pray for you.
I gotta go because I have another interview.
Yeah, that's a good time to get out of here. he voted for.
If I did, I would have felt really stupid, and this is the reason why.
You are ridiculous. You are ridiculous.
Visit themodernblackman.com.
You don't have a reason to vote for a person. You voted for because she was black.
Support us on social media.
She was black.
All platforms.
I love y'all. I love y'all. But B is showing his colors now.
I'm glad we did this. I'm glad we did this. You got anything to say before we wrap?
No.
I gotta be the next one.
I don't have anything I need to put out, but like I may sound hard. I may sound like I don't care. I don't. Yo, I don't care. I don't care about your feelings. All I care about is you knowing the truth and you utilizing the truth in order to make a better decision and not the decision that just makes it more comfortable. Okay. But if I could tell anybody anything, if I'm looking at things that's happening around the world, we don't have that much longer before the Antichrist shows his face. Okay. Which means that those of you that have decided not to choose Christ as your personal savior, you have even less time. But I pray for all of you. I pray that you come to a knowing relationship with Jesus Christ. And I pray that you be saved from the wrath to come. And that's all I really want for anybody. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I could talk about anything under the sun, but that's all I really care about. That's all I care about.
Those are the most important priorities, though, and I mean, that's where our minds should be. I can't disagree with that.
I love you, bro.
Man, I appreciate you, kid. Love you, man.
All right, man. Next time.
We're gonna do it soon.